done that in 50 years or more. And the only ones that did it was crazy. So what kind of communist is he? A government communist. When I started asking him about certain people, of course, the second in charge of the Communist Party is one of my best friends. We was together at McNeil Island, and they shipped us both to Leavenworth. And they called me in the last 2 months ago when I did that Hitlerian thing. They called me on the phone, man, that was good. Da, 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 da. So I'm asking these so-called communists, hey, how's so-and-so? After I asked, we're not those kind of guys. I said, I didn't think this to myself. And all them people are so happy to see us. Of course they're happy to see us. If Linda Southside or whatever her name is, jumped from 0 to 200 miles an hour and a quarter mile.
In 3.5 seconds.
Yeah. From don't nobody know who she is.
That's right.
To having a thing, ain't nobody can do that but the government. The government can have a masjid open next door and it's full of people tomorrow. They can have a grand opening from then on, this full show. The Imam, leaders, followers, all of that. They do that with people around us. They get a place, they never had no income, all they can pay thousands of dollars a month rent. They have everybody. People will leave here and go around the corner. Why would you do that? Why are you there? You'll have people that have did the paperwork on all our CDs, DVDs, and have not rewritten but organized our As-Sabiqun. So they'll know all this in detail. And when they see the news, they know, oh, so-and-so said that 15 years ago. And they will have to come by and say, oh, da-da-da-da. Or, if we look right next door, as soon as 2 days before we finish it, we're saying, oh, maybe people's families growing bigger, maybe. And then the day after, just before you finish, you get ready to knock a hole in the wall. Boop, so you don't have to knock a hole in the wall to make a door, because they leave. And then we have people here that they're going to handle media. So we build a media building right there. That's what it's there for. It's got a black carpet, it's got everything that I saw in some of those studios. Perfect. Boop. I don't remember. I don't know. Then we have a meeting. Okay, the brotherhood, we're going to work out. We should work out between 3 or 4 times a week and at least 2 times per week together. I think that's for, I know we had the iron pile and all the stuff outside. I'm going to build a little gym. Ain't nobody been in that gym hardly but a couple of people. Right? And people want books, so build a bookstore. Okay? And an oil store. People sit around for a decade, not decade, but a long time, acting like they need oil to sell, and there's buckets of oil out there. Buckets, real live buckets. You know, buckets. So, if you were working for the common, remember the earlier hadith, that if you turn your work into leisure for Allah's service, Allah is going to give you contentment. And contentment is superior to wealth. And if you do that, if you cook meals for the people, you ain't going to never be hungry. Or ain't going to be broke. to feed the people. Okay, if you've been at the government chopping at your throat, stealing your money, right, just oh, hey, here's the brother. How about $5,000 fine? There you go, take it or leave it, or just take your property. And you don't have no income and you ain't never broke. You know what old Khadijah said? I hope you watch it. Old Khadijah, when they got the money out of the bank a couple of years ago, it's a couple of years. Now, that money was for a certain reason. It was to help other people. It wasn't to help me. You can't change life. You can't tell any difference in lifestyle from before we had that money there or after it was gone. Nor in attitude or nothing else. Nor we can't help y'all because we ain't got no money. That don't happen. It don't happen, it didn't happen. Why? If they was stealing money to get away with a crime, when they get $100,000 and they have never, neither one of them together had over $500 collectively in their whole life. It's clear. It's clear. So if they get $100,000 cash, they would be moved to Louisiana or somewhere, right? They didn't do that. They called me and said, yeah, you broke down, you know. So they're calling me, thinking that if they tell me they've taken the money, and the bank is talking to me like I'm some type of a criminal. I'm telling them, hey, this, that, no. It just so happens I have all the paperwork from the bank. I had them give me printouts from years ago, and up till as soon as they start acting funny. And I got all of my other paperwork. So anyway, long story short, experience, patience, wasabru wa nifsul iman, and power, and people's activity. Why do they act like that? To break your focus, to divert you from what you're doing. If they were to divert us, that would be just like the reason we could predict Mayweather is going to win is because the white boy, no matter how good he is, he's fighting, what's the name's fight? And he would have to be Superman or Justice League, somebody, to whoop a good Negro that's had 49 fights and ain't lost none of them. And can run and hide and duck and slip and slide for 4 or 5 rounds without even
get touched.
Yeah, and that's what the guy, somebody told me that's what the guy was doing. As if Muhammad Ali is not going to look at George Foreman and say, that boy hits niggas and lifts them up. I don't know. He did. He hit Joe Frazier. He made Joe Frazier look like a bum. It was funny. And if Muhammad Ali is 100, Joe Frazier is 99.5. That's what Ali said himself. So Ali got enough sense to know if he did 99.5 like that, and he get juiced up enough, he may do worse to 100. So I'm not going to go in there. I can't float like a butterfly. I can't sting like a bee no more. So what am I going to do? So he has to think about it. He's not going to fight George Foreman's fight. But he's a dead man. Right? What's the name ain't going to get there? So, this fellow, Mr. McGregor, has fought the longest fight. The statistics said it was 25 minutes. So, what they used to call it, getting on your bicycle in the ring. So he's going to get on his bicycle for 3 or 4 rounds. maybe 5. I heard, I'm gonna go try to look at it, but I heard they were saying he had the first 2 rounds, maybe even 3 rounds. What about the later rounds? So, when we fight the white man, we're not gonna fight his fight. And they calling you telling me, yeah, you think you broke now? Because I just gave a quick one. The week before, I said, I ain't been broke in 40, 50 years, which is true. You broke now. I said, well, it's not actually true, but it does make no difference. And it is unbelievable because, see, this stuff is true. Number one, they don't know how much money I got. They don't have any idea. And I've told them that when you surrounded me in South America and everybody was the police, all my friends are the police, they're running, I said, well, what can I do? And I've told them, I said, well, I had to do something on the side. Because see, every prison has a blind spot or two. So the white man, 24/7, still today have blind spots. And all you got to do is fish around and push everything around and send somebody to push around. Pretty soon you did something, you don't know you did it. It's a blind spot. You keep on, that's what patience is. See, endurance. The difference between Malcolm and King and us is that long period of time. That long period of time to gain experience and experience and experience and to gain contentment. And then when you flip to psychological guerrilla warfare, you got the white man that's a cage fighter that whoops everybody, he gonna fight you. By the Queensberry rules, he can't kick you, he can't do nothing. You could bring a motor scooter in the ring and do like this for 2-3 rounds, right? Who cares about the first 2-3 rounds? This guy is not even training. They watching him to find out if he ain't never fought no more than 20. He should train some up to 40 minutes of fighting, at least, before going in the ring with a guy. He could slip and slide. He could slip and slide for 5 rounds. He could do it for 6 rounds. He could do it 7, 8 rounds and knock you out in number 9 or 10. Don't make no difference.
You were talking about not fighting, the white man's fight.
Right.
You remember Randall Tex Cobb and Larry Holmes? Larry Holmes fought a white guy named Randall Tex Cobb.
I remember when he fought, what's his name?
And he beat Jerry Cooney.
Jerry
He beat him to
yeah.
death, right? So after it was over, they asked Randall Tex Cobb, they say, would you like to fight Larry Holmes again? He said, yeah, we were both inside a phone booth.
Right.
And he couldn't move.
Right.
That's what he wants. He wants you to stand still so he can get off.
Mm-hmm.
But Larry Holmes, that ain't what he do.
And the European wants to make us mad. Can you imagine how silly the people in Oakland look now? After doing all of that stuff? But we told them design fitna. We told them we see all this for 25, 30 years. Nobody else see it. So we got to develop some design fitna so everybody can see you. You know what Abdul-Malik said after about the first year? You're eccentric. There's something was wrong with me because I didn't take a dive. We done did all of this. So it's not eccentric. I said, this is normal. And I'm trying to tell him, You've been pulling for the white man. You've been working for the white man. Well, you trying to turn me? I said, of course I want you to get it. I try to turn everybody. If everybody needed money and I have money, I say, hey, want some money? If I'm happy and I know what happiness is, I know what unhappiness is, super rich and powerful and not unhappy, but not contented. And now I'm contented and happy and ain't worried about nothing. That's not eccentric. That's knowing how to fight. Making the people fight your fight. So what they do, they just do everything in order. And then they got blind spots. They don't know. All they can see is, well, when I come home from prison, within a short while, we done built a Masjid, you know, the one we got now. Okay, we travel around raising funds, but you think people gave us enough money to buy all of that? You think that when they take tons of money every day and we sit there laughing, the white man don't know how much money I made in the old days because he was counting in detail the amount of money we were dealing with him. Counted in detail. But we already had experience then. We had 20 years of experience, 15 years of experience then. Right? So if we come to turn ourselves in, you think we're going to come and turn ourselves in? We're broke, we're sad, right? And haven't worked a day in the life since 1966. With the government trying to take your money and taking your money all the time, or giving you a fine, or anything, right? To take your money. That's a lie. And then you realize enough that if Allah got you covered, you covered. Ain't nothing they can do about it. I'll pick up. I meant to just use this as an opener. It's reported the Holy Prophet ﷺ said to the wounded men of Abu-Qais tribe, surely there are in you two attributes which Allah loves, patience and delay. And remember what Sabru wa nifsu iman. Patience is having faith. The other two traits, Sahih Muslim will skip that. Reported the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, delay comes from Allah and haste comes from the devil. We've been using delay all the time. What does delay do? It runs the people crazy. It runs. I remember Mukhtar walking up to me sideways, like, gonna show you the small side, like he's tough. And then giving the impression, I am fully committed to the white man. He's pushing this persona so that I know that he's fully committed to the white man. There's nothing you can say. Khadijah's the same way. Abdul Malik do it, but a little bit less. See, Abdul Malik have them do it. He tells them what to do, and they like dummies. And I'm supposed to be despondent. What is he trying to do? Break our focus, right? Change our goal set. Make them the target, right? If they do that, they've won. Suppose we keep going the way we want to go. Or suppose we say, oh, if you feel that way, I'm going home and take a nap. Right? And do it. I'm going home and take a nap. I think I'll go to the movie. Because if I spend this senior citizens ticket, some days it's $7.25. And I can go in the movie at 12 o'clock and come out at 2 o'clock. I ain't got that in the morning. I ain't got nothing to do, and I want to see all the movies. I don't have anything else to do, right? Only thing I got is books to study and this jihad. And, oh, I'm taking off today. That's delay. And delay. And delay. I mentioned one of the tactics before. Attack at the third blowing of the horn. Does anybody remember? I know I've mentioned that. But if you got in the old days, they'd have two armies ready to fight. And so if you blow the horn, everybody's charged up to fight. You know what I mean? Everything they've been getting ready for, they're ready to go. But suppose you get ready for the fight and they ring the bell and you say, hold it. We got to postpone the fight for a half an hour. All your energy is going out and everything. And you're ready to fight the enemy. And the horses is ready. Everything about it ready to go. And it dissipates all of that energy bottled up, focused on you, and you delay. Then you hit that, well, we'll do it at 12:45. So the second blowing on, they done worked up a little enthusiasm, right? Brainwash themselves. We gotta win this. We're going. This is for the king, for the queen. This is for Mother Earth. Anybody? For the empire. And you back up. So now we don't feel like it. What are they doing? They're flat. Right? Tell the truth. Anybody like that? Oh, we're not gonna fight in half an hour. Now we got to put it off 2 hours. And you've been punching, you know what I mean, getting your sweat up, you know what I mean, how you're getting your psyche ready. Now you got to go to the bathroom because it's so long. It's 2 or 3 hours, right? You may have to do by the end, anything, right? Tell the truth. And then, finally, you blow the horn. Your people all this time, and you have had your feet up on the desk, and they blow the horn. This is the horn blowing, it's fine. Right? The second horn blow, another horn blowing. But you start getting ready. The other team's already dissipated all their energy, they're disorientated, they've lost their focus. We do that to Sam every week. We do it to him over and over again because he's a buffoon. And all the people working with him are buffoons. Why? Because longevity, endurance, pertinacity, tenaciousness, holding on if you just have time. You carry it on over and over again, and time turns over. Like this stuff happened in the 60s. People who was with me that was working against it. When I discovered 2010 or something like that. I've been doing information, but it didn't fit nowhere. From the 60s and the 70s, I discovered everything that was going on. I already knew, but I didn't know that in that way. Why? Because time uncovers and moves things around. And when they develop an army for you to attack you, you just stall them. And that's why the prophet, peace be upon him, said, delay is good in everything except service, like prayer, fasting. You can't say, well, I'm going to delay this fast till 12 o'clock. You can't do that. But I'm going to delay this confrontation with the enemies of Islam. Can you imagine what we've done over the years? Think about it just for a minute. Who have we been in contact with? Let's take our allies. Crescent, Zafar Bank guys, all of them guys, right? Muhammad al-Assad. They were supposed to be our friends. They've been working directly for the last 21 years openly against them. To no effect. They've been inviting me when I get held up in Switzerland and all of that. They invited me. When I get held up to Canadian borders every time, when I just eased on my own, nobody knew I was coming, I go every time. But when Zafar, yeah, wow. When I went to South Africa, once they hold me up in Atlanta, time before, they hold me up at the airport in Johannesburg talking about possible drug smuggling. The drug smuggling. So they look in our bags and everything, talking that. One, the head guy is a white guy. And then the follower is an African. So I'm telling him, hey man, I got something for you here. These are 30 lectures of Malcolm. Those are 30 lectures of Malcolm. Yes, they are. Here you go, this for you. Then after a while, the white guy says, okay, you can go. I said, just a minute. You got me here detained on drugs and you haven't searched me? So what do you know about the rules of engagement? I know that if I'm on if there's drugs involved, you're gonna search the baggage for sure, but if you don't search the nigga, what are you talking about? Drugs. You here to bother me, to mess around. What are you talking about? You don't know the rules. I said, I happen to know that much. If there's drugs involved and you look at my bags playing around, you didn't look too good, and you don't search me, I said, if I come off the plane and there's drugs involved, they either in the bags or they on me. You know where else they could be. And if you got a hot tip and you look in the bag and you don't find them, you automatically gonna search me. And this is a customs area. So delay is big time. Okay, now remember, okay, now that's the allies. All right, now it's the system. Who in here has been, I ain't got no American citizen that's been hassled by 007s and people who's at MI5, MI6.
In London?
London, yeah. I got the paperwork, they turned me around and they said, we want to talk to you. I said, yeah, I gave him a goodbye. I said, what you mean you want to talk to me? You have no right to talk to me about nothing. It must be silly. You're a jackass. Who you really mean? You want to talk to me. So why am I here? I said, I'm in transit. Well, we want you to fill out this slip. I said, that's an entry slip, like I'm trying to come here. I'm going to Lebanon. And the Zafar in the foreign ministry looked it up to go to Lebanon. I told them, they said, your friends. I said, I don't need to go to Lebanon. I said, in 1990, they were sending the letters to our Masjid. We love you, we're friends. And it had a Hezbollah logo on it because they were our friends. I said, I love you. You don't have to tell me. And you definitely don't have to send none of that crap to the United States, to our Masjid, right? With Hezbollah on it. And I don't need to go to Lebanon. In fact, I don't even want to go to Lebanon. But they want you to give a series of talks. I said, hey, man, they don't need me to tell them nothing. They got it going on. So finally I said, okay, I'll go. And then they hassled. want to go to Switzerland. They hold up the whole plane. And then here, look at here. The series of Negroes here is unbelievable. The Negroes, when I first get here, oh, my America said, you can use the Muslim house. I didn't even know they called it the House of Terror. The thing was on. The neighbors was putting pigs in the back, and when I would go run, I'd smell, I thought it was a squirrel or something that died right there, and I saw. But the garbage thing had a pig in it. They killed the pig and put it in the garbage to let me know ain't nobody else coming around there. I just didn't know that this was the House of Terror. And I've been running in the Rock Creek Park, my goodness, right there, 16th Street, down Beach Drive. It's almost like running in the hills in Oakland. While you're running, it's just wonderful. And every time, when I would go way back into Rock Creek Park, where you see them big new-tailed deer and everything, every corner I turned, it was a police there. So I'm asking around, finally one of the brothers told me, yeah, well, the IGA, I said, IGA, was that the Islamic Guerrilla Army of America or something? They used to use Rock Creek Park to stage war games at the ranger station that you go by every day. And they acting funny, and you got a hood on and running with hand weights and looking all crazy. Is because the headquarters of the IGA was the same place you're using. And you come right down the street over the fence and into Rock Creek Park. And they think you're probably the chief of the IGA, Islamic Guerrilla Army of America. And the people coming there, they just got their little program and they just rolling along. Finally, when we move out here, we got all the people around. Little old Ali was coming around. And every time I go to South Africa, he would tell me I just left there. I said, well, what do you do? And Mr. Ali, he says, I'm in charge of all the video equipment of U.S. embassies in Africa. I said, they sure love people with the name of Ali, and that they're going to give him charge of all the video, and every time I go there, he's there with me and telling me, I don't know, and then this cousin China boy try to help everybody, and he goes crazy. The little black fellow, and all that crew, they just pack up when they get ready and leave. Two little black fellows.